Welcome, everybody, to another edition of Fade You College Football. Last night sucked. Colorado, fuck you. Kansas State. I mean, I tried to warn the guys. I wasn't on that. I actually leaned Zona, but wasn't about to get in the way of Joey Cheese.
If I waited till yesterday, I wouldn't even have pulled the trigger.
Yeah, like Avery Johnson. He's a basketball player, so I don't understand why we'd bet on him to throw a football. It doesn't make sense to me. Anyway, thank you everybody for all the support. We got 7 plays between the three of us. We don't know where Dookie is. He might be.
Hopefully, he's not overdosed in a bathroom somewhere.
And I hope not either. I haven't heard from him since last night after we're laughing at somebody's square ass UCLA money line parlay. But for Kmart, Chaz McLongball, Joey Cheese, let's take it away. Week 3. Let's have another good week like last Saturday.
Dude, I feel so bad. I'm so angry that I played Kansas State earlier in the week. I think I posted it on Tuesday or Wednesday. I grabbed the -1 because I thought K-State was going to take a lot of sharp money, and I figured it would go up to -2, 2.5. Tried jumping the line, and man, when I went on Twitter last night, I am not kidding when I tell you I saw 50 Kansas State tickets from 45 people who are fucking terrible, and I was so upset.
I just don't know how we pass on that line. I mean, good God. I mean, that was the smelliest, god-awful.
But I mean, it flipped. Line. It flipped, though. Like, what wasn't it? Didn't it open K-State plus 1.5?
K-State plus 1, something like that.
Isn't that usually a side, Joey, that you and I will be like, snap call? And, once it did that, that's what's like, guys, like, I think Zona's the play. But,
yeah,
I'm just high on them, so I just didn't know if I was biased.
K-State off a loss at home to fucking Army.
Well, I mean, isn't that telling that they're just not good?
Well, it could be, but it also could be like, oh, well, maybe they actually might be better. They were ranked to start the year, were they not?
What does it matter what the preseason is? We don't know what they are. Like
K-State is last year's Florida State, without a doubt.
They're bad.
Without a doubt, they are last year's Seminoles. But man, that was fucking awful, and I'm really upset that I pulled the fucking.
Where are all our followers, guys?
What? No one's here? That's cool. I'll talk to myself. I don't give a fuck. All right, check it out. So pretty decent slate today. I mean, I don't have too much today for myself. I mean, although be it quite a few good games, I just didn't pull the trigger on many things today. I know Kmart, I know you got a couple. Chase, I know you got a few. I know we talked about a couple that I actually told Kmart this morning I didn't pull the trigger on yet, that I might get to the window on tonight. But let's start in the early window, man, at 12 o'clock my time out here. There is a big one on the schedule, and it is Clemson, Georgia Tech. This is a Clemson team that all offseason I was very high on. I mean, I spoke highly about them in our group chat. I thought this was a perennial favorite to win the national championship. Cade Klubnik, Debo, fucking sweet. Like, I thought that without a doubt, this team was the team that we were all going to be talking about come Christmas time. Like, but it doesn't appear that way right now. Both you play this game or just you, Kmart?
I think just me for now. I think after Kansas State, Chaz is feeling a little gun shy, but I don't know. I'm looking at it right now. Line's down to 2.5. I won't lie. I got -3 because I did not expect it to keep going down. I don't really give a shit. We all saw what happened to Colorado last night. I think it got as high as 6, went back all the way down to 4. Doesn't mean shit. Don't overanalyze it. Clemson
I
either
felt
way.
safe. Did Houston win that game last night? They did, right?
Oh yeah, they ended up winning like 36-20.
Oh,
Like,
gee.
I mean, it did color.
halftime of
I
the
think there was a
K-State game.
defensive touchdown. I ended up turning it off to cheer for Kansas State with you guys, and then I turned on to see what looked like a defensive back running the ball in, or a linebacker. I
A
don't know.
fucking fullback in at quarterback.
Yeah, like I have no idea what happened there in the second half, but I don't really care. Colorado, piss off. Anyway,
So you laid the 3 with Clemson here?
yeah, no, it's an official play for me. I think it's just kind of what we were talking about Kansas State. So maybe it's a little contradictory, but I still think Clemson has the horses. I'm way higher on Klubnik than I am Avery Johnson. So you get a line at 7.5, and now it's 2.5. To me, that's good value. And Georgia Tech, I mean, decent football team. I like what they do on offense, but I also think Clemson defensively can slow them down. So you're going to give me a field goal? Okay, I'll bite. I'll take the bait. You know, I think these lines, like I've been saying for weeks, and even last year, the books are on to people like us. Oh, look for the 2.5. Dude, like I swear to God, like it's probably like 40%. Like if we took every plus 2.5, we're gonna be losing money, just because it's like, oh, it smells. Like, there's no such thing as a poopy line anymore.
Let me double check, make sure I don't.
Kansas State, for instance.
All right, I don't have any plus 2.5s today. All right, I feel
Yeah.
better.
Yeah. So
I don't know. I mean, I want to get there. It was one of the first games that stood out to me on the card when I was looking at it. Beginning of the week. I'm with you, Cheese. I really think this team is going to be a team, despite the rocky start, that by the end of the year, they got to be decent, man. That front seven is gnarly. Eventually they're going to turn it around somewhere. To be honest, the guy I'm out on right now at this point in time, as far as who this falls on, is Cade Klubnik. He looks awful. He cannot throw the football. His legs look good, but his legs always look good. So until I can see a better performance throwing the football, it's going to be hard for me to have a lot of confidence in them. But I just know at some point in time they're going to turn this around.
yeah, and I think that starts today. So I'm gonna jump on it, and you're gonna be my college football edition of UConn basketball.
You're getting great value, because I was looking at the look ahead lines from last week, and Clemson was minus 7.5.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. It's like 5 points because they played one bad half of football, and then they came out in the second half and did to Troy, right, what they should have done. Like they did to them what they should have done in the second half. They had
You're going to talk me into
football, probably because they overlooked them. Talking about 18, 19, 20-year-old kids. And then at some point, when you're far superior, like in the second half, you impose your will and you beat the living piss out of them. So I'm not going to hold much weight into the first half. Who knows? Who knows what happened? But they turned it around. You cannot be encouraged. You cannot not be encouraged by what we saw in the second half, right? So,
me personally, I just don't like what I've seen from Clemson as an entire body of work. You know what I mean? Not impressed with them. I am certainly not going to lay the points with them here. Will be rooting for you guys though, because I do not have any skin in the game. So, yeah. Anything else at 12 o'clock for you guys? Chase, do you have anything in the early window?
I got nothing in the early window. My next one's at 12:30.
12:30
Pacific.
12:30 Pacific. So that's
real time.
Nobody likes that bullshit. Well, we have a huge game at 12 o'clock. Houston Christian versus Nebraska. Anyone? No, I'm just kidding. No one's playing that. You know what I did notice looking over the schedule? Say, man, there's a lot of games with 4 or 5 touchdown favorites. Did anyone look at Northwestern Oregon?
Long enough to know I wanted no money on it.
Kmart, did you look at that game?
What time is it at?
I don't even know. I was
looking later tonight.
Yeah, I looked at it earlier. That game, it just screams Northwestern with how bad they are.
Well, and Oregon won by like 88 points last week or whatever.
They just fucking ran it up last week. Well, listen, while we're in the early window, I guess we'll get to my first play. I played the Trojans of Troy at
Ew.
12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. I played Troy at plus 4.5 for 1 unit. Nothing crazy. I know Kmart just touched a little bit on what Clemson did to Troy in the second half last week. But I want to look at that game as an entire body of work rather than just what Clemson did to them in the second. Troy was they were able to limit Clemson to 120 yards on the ground last week. I think that is a recipe to win football games, especially keep games close. Troy's quarterback
college football is allowing 120 yards a good thing.
Well, when you have teams rushing for 200 weekly.
No, I know it's just crazy.
Yeah, like most teams would sign up for limited in Clemson to $120 on the ground right now if you ask them.
Yeah,
especially Troy. So this is a Troy team led by Will Crowder, West Virginia transfer. Kids looked halfway decent. I'm looking for him to have a better game than he did last week. I don't believe this Memphis D is as good as Clemson's. Crowder turned the ball over a few times last week, 3 interceptions. If he can limit the turnovers this week, I wouldn't be shocked to see Troy win this game outright. Troy has a monster in the backfield. Tay Meadows, kid averaging like 7 yards per carry on the season. For anyone that watches Troy football or is familiar with the program, this is a team that is run heavy. They like to control the clock. They play old school football. They don't really require Crowder to throw it downfield a bunch for big chunks. They are a time of possession team. I like Troy to keep it within this number, and I wouldn't be surprised if Memphis is looking past them, looking at their home game next week versus Arkansas. So yeah, give me Troy plus 4.5 for 1 unit. That is my first play of the day. Did either one of you even look at this game?
I mean, I looked at it and said, move on.
Chase, did you even look at it?
I mean, I glanced at it, but I didn't really give it any serious thought.
Fair enough. All right.
I mean, I look at every game on the board and, for 5 seconds, and then I just circle. Doesn't matter how many I circle, but then I come back to it after I finish. And then that's when I kind of start doing some digging, and then I weed that down. But yeah, this did not get a circ.
My concern in a spot like this, the only pushback I would give you is Troy, teams like Troy and smaller schools like that are going to gear up for games against Clemson, Ohio State, Georgia, big schools, right? So I worry about a little bit of an emotional letdown coming off a game that they have. I mean, it's the biggest game on their calendar. So that would be my only concern.
How do you not get up for Memphis, though? This is a team that went, 9 or 10-2 last year? I mean,
because Memphis probably isn't contending for a national title.
Well, at this rate, Clemson's not either.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? So, but I don't know. I mean, you guys know I talk about a lot of the smaller schools in our group chat. Yep. I found my niche in this market tends to be with the smaller schools, tends to be where I find the most value personally for myself. But yeah, moving on. Chase, why don't you get into your first game?
Yeah, so I'm going to be on Georgia at 12:30 Pacific, real time. I got 3.5 is what I've got. So I'm not sure what the books are offering right this minute. Here, I can scroll. Looks like
4. I think it's hanging 4 right now.
Yeah. So, I've got 3.5. I like it at 4-2. I'm just going on history here. There's a couple things that really stand out to me. Number one, Georgia has beat the living shit out of Tennessee about 800 times in a row. There hasn't really been a competitive game between the two in a while. I know me and Joey absolutely smacked Georgia alt line I believe it was last year, in the middle of the year there, about week 7, week 8. And I mean, they just absolutely raked Tennessee over the coals. So I think this is typically a mismatch. The other thing that I wanted to point out and why I like Georgia in this spot, has there ever been a team that has had a top couple school recruiting class that has Kirby Smart, a history of winning championships, get less press than this Georgia team? I mean, no one is discussing them as being reasonably viable for a championship. They're not even in the conversation, and they're the 6th ranked team in the country. I got to imagine there's some bulletin board material going up in the Georgia locker room at this point in time. I think this could be a real coming out party for them. I haven't looked into it, but again, wouldn't shock me to see this be not even remotely competitive.
Wow, not competitive. Not competitive. It sounds a little crazy. But yeah, I mean, this Georgia team has not been talked about. You're right. They're not making headlines with fancy play and blowing teams out, the Georgia football we're used to. I didn't have a strong enough opinion on this game one way or another. My initial read was Tennessee, with I believe Georgia having a bye next week with Bama on deck, right? Right. If I remember,
you get 2 weeks in there though.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, I'm certainly not looking to step in front of Georgia here. I know that. So,
well, that's kind of my thing. I don't understand I don't understand the lack of attention that Georgia's not getting. And number 2, like, what has Tennessee done?
Not a whole lot.
Yeah, right. Like I mean, I get it. They're a home, they're a small home dog, and people are always going to look at that as a potential outright for sure. But I just don't think Georgia's the team you want to step in front of. I mean, they're always one of the best teams in the trenches, which is going to travel well no matter where you play. And they got Kirby Smart has a great track record at Rocky Top.
I want to be completely clear. Georgia is still the class of the SEC, without a doubt.
Yeah, that's my point.
It's not LSU. I don't care what anyone says.
No, so you're only gonna make me swallow 3.5 points? Oh, okay.
Yeah. Kmart, did you have an opinion here?
Yeah, I'm on Georgia. The line at DraftKings right now is 3.5, so you can still get 3.5. I bought it at 3 just in case, but officially gonna give it 3.5. I mean, a lot of things Chase said. I just don't like wasting time saying the same fucking thing over and over again. But for me, it's I don't know. I look at the line and I felt Tennessee would be more public with the 3.5 at home, grabbing the hook. I like the line at 4. They just seem similar to Clemson to me, where you're giving me a lot of value on a soft number, and I just don't feel like missing out on it. I think Chase said it. They're the class of the SEC, so
they're Georgia.
It's. I know they got some new pieces, but so does Tennessee.
Georgia's getting about 60% of the handle right now.
Yeah.
All right.
So that's where I'm at.
All right, Chase, you got another one, which Joey mentioned earlier in the week.
Yeah, I'm not going to steal Joey's thunder. I'm going to let him decide whether he wants out on that one or not.
Georgia Southern?
Yep.
Go ahead. I didn't play it yet. Go ahead. This is all you. I'd love to hear why we talked about it personally 4 or 5 times this week. I think I know, but let's hear it.
The thing I like about Georgia, it wasn't a game that I initially had got on until you told me. You're like, oh, dude, I'm looking at this game. So then I started diving into it. Dude, Jacksonville State has not thrown a touchdown this year. Not one. I'm sorry. I can't get behind a team that's in week 3 and still hasn't thrown a touchdown this year. How many
rushing touchdowns do they have?
A few, but not as many as you would think. So you're going to have a one-dimensional team playing against
more than
Georgia
0.
Southern. Georgia Southern's played some decent. Georgia Southern has played some decent teams this year. It's why they're 0-2. I don't think this squad is a bad squad. Kyle's going to hate this, but obviously Clay Helton's not a horrible coach. Maybe he's not good
Why
enough.
would I hate that? I loved Clay Helton.
Maybe he's not good enough to coach at USC, but he's certainly good enough to coach at Georgia Southern.
He won us a Rose Bowl, man. What has Lincoln Riley done? Nothing.
Yeah, I mean, there you go. To me, I like Georgia Southern in this spot. They're definitely on the side of the card that isn't getting the money. For some reason, there seems to be a lot of Jacksonville State love when it comes to the betting slips. So I will definitely get there for it. Probably a 1 unit bet.
Yeah, I texted you earlier in the week. I think it was I think Georgia Southern was the first play I dialed in on, and I fully expected to hammer them in this spot here. And just the more I looked at it, the less and less I started to love it. So I just, for myself personally, I like to step away from it for a day or two and then take a peek at it again. And I noticed last night when I dove back into it, I just didn't love it as much. It's clearly I think it's the right side. And if I do end up playing a game tonight, there's a good chance Georgia Southern is the game. But yeah, like I said, I'll be rooting for you here, and there is still a chance that I get to the window there.
Okay.
Okay, Mark, what else you got? Because I know you got more plays than I do. I only have one more.
I mean, same. We already went over Clemson and Georgia. So let's go to your last one, and then Chase and I can finish off with ours, and I can shout out Dookies.
I've got two
plays.
All right, give out one of yours, Chaz, then I'll do mine.
Or here, let me give out Duke's play. Actually, it'll correlate.
Who's that?
So Duke is going to be on Purdue plus 20.5 against my USC Trojans. So honestly, like I do think that I said it earlier yesterday where I think Purdue plus 20.5 is probably the right side. SC's first road game of the year. Big 12 or Big 10 game, but it's Purdue. I think they got outscored at home, something like 40-10 last year. They might be slightly improved, but SC's also a lot improved on both sides of the ball. I know they've played not great opponents, but they've done what they should do to them. So, we all know I have my little fun, like, I'm just going to bet every SC game for fun. Like I'm actually going to take USC today. So it'll be a fun little head-to-head between us, but nothing to, I don't know. It's a fun bet for me. But
if Duke loses, is he going to pay you in food stamps?
I think he's going to pay a round at Torrey Pines.
That would be nice.
Wouldn't it?
Yeah.
And then, because we did talk about it, I guess I'll give out his other play. He is going to go with Northwestern. I don't know what line he has, but I saw it's 26.5 right now on DraftKings. I believe it was 30. I don't know.
I saw 28.5.
28. Okay,
Like
was it
Sunday night?
Okay, so yeah, now it's 26.5. Honestly, probably the right side too. I mean, I think you guys lean that way. I mean, they usually have the defense, play slow, but Oregon will have 3 plays like Kansas State opened up the second half last night. They just have the ability to blow the game wide open at any point. So good luck, Duke. Oregon is not a team I'm looking to
step in front of. Yeah, for sure. Chase, why don't you give out the one that we aren't both on?
Okay. Are you not on Miami?
It's my biggest bet of the day.
Okay. Vandy. Got it. So yeah, I like Vandy getting 3 at South Carolina. Boy, South Carolina has had some fortune in their favor. They've had a lot of special team scores this year for it only being week 3. I'm not nearly as high on Lenora Sellers in South Carolina as all of the pundits are. I don't think he's a terrible quarterback, but I also don't think he's a legitimate Heisman candidate. So for me, I think South Carolina is in a really, they're as peaked in their position in the college football rankings as I think they're going to get. I think they're like number 11. I think this is a real buy basically sell high spot for South Carolina. On the converse, I've been saying this since he was at New Mexico State. I like Diego Pavia. I think he is a better quarterback than Lenoris Sellers. I've watched him play a shitload of games. He's a very fun quarterback to watch. The dude's gritty as hell. So for me, I like this Vandy team with being led by Diego Pavia against a team that I think, to be honest, their offense really has not looked that great. If you take away the special team scores, they are pretty anemic offensively. So for me, I can't back a team in South Carolina. I bet against them earlier in the year with you guys with Virginia Tech. I'm going to do it again this week with Vandy.
I looked at that side too, just didn't get there.
Hi, Danny. Danny's the best. My homeboy from New York, another diehard Mets fan. Dude, we talked about this game yesterday. I'm absolutely shocked out of my mind right now that I don't have $1 million on Vanderbilt.
That's why I asked.
Yeah.
I'll be right back.
I think the reason why I didn't pull the trigger on Vandy is because I could have gotten a way better number earlier in the week.
Yep.
And I don't mind, sometimes the game we're going to talk about next. I took one number. I took an entire point worse than you did. But when you start talking 3.5, 4 points, I mean, there's a serious problem here. I cannot play for the amount of money I play for and take 4 points less. I just can't do it.
I get it. I totally get it. But I guess the reason I'm a little more comfortable with it is, number one, I'm looking at the betting totals, and I mean, it's almost double the percentage of tickets versus the actual handle. Vandy's getting like a quarter of the tickets, but half the handle. Tells me
Buff
a lot of people like Vandy
too.
Buff
just said he loves Vandy too.
Yeah. So I think that's, to me, that's part of it. The other thing is I would not shock me in the least if Vandy wins outright at all.
Dude, I'm so over Lenoris Sellers. This motherfucking piece of shit doesn't scramble for 25, 30 yards at a clip. I don't even think they escaped Virginia Tech.
Virginia Tech had them on the ropes. They gave up a punt return touchdown.
Lost that fucking game, dude.
Yeah. Punt return touchdown.
Yeah. I'm not buying the Lenoris Sellers hype either. I know I got a bunch of, acquaintances that live in the South Carolina area, and they absolutely love this kid. They think he's fucking Peyton Manning, fucking 2.0, or fucking, Cam Newton. No, the kid sucks. I think he fucking blows. So I don't know.
I don't know if he blows, but he's definitely not a Heisman candidate.
He's definitely not a top 5 quarterback in college football. How about
there
that?
You go.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, listen, let's talk about my biggest game, a game that I know you like.
Yep.
So I know I played Miami minus 17.5 for 2 units. I know you played Miami. You were smarter than I was, and you scooped 16.5 earlier in the week. I didn't play 16.5 because I thought there was a chance I would get 15.5. So funny how that works, right? So this is a USF team I'm not super high on. I know they have what most would consider 2 large wins. Opener, they beat Boise. Last week, they beat Florida. And I'm going to go as far as saying that USF didn't beat Florida last week. Florida beat Florida last week.
Yeah.
For anyone that watched that game, Florida had 11 or 12 penalties. I think it was 130 yards of penalty yardage. Florida was only 31% on third down. I mean, they gave that fucking game away. I've heard enough of the USF hype. I am a huge, big Carson Beck fan. I think this Miami team is legit. I think they have real national championship hype this year. That defense is filthy. They have the backfield of Brown and Fletcher. Fletcher's absolutely disgusting. And Beck's looked really good. I mean, Beck's done what I've expected him to do making the switch over to Miami. He's kept the ball. He hasn't turned it over. He has, four or five touchdowns, no interceptions. And you know what? He's put his team in a position to win. I expect them to do the same here. I don't see how USF scores. This low total in this game leads me to believe Miami routs them. I have this game somewhere in the 38-10, 41-7, like somewhere in that range. I don't see how USF scores more than 10 points here. So yeah. Oh, and USF's quarterback, Byron Brown, kid's a bum. He has one passing touchdown this year. He's also their team's leading rusher. I think if Miami limits him, which I fully expect them to do, I don't see how USF scores. So yeah, Miami, my best bet, minus 17.5, 2 units, and that is it for me for today for college football. Might have one more tonight, and if I do, I'll tweet it out.
Yeah,
I mean, right?
There's not much for me to add to that. I agree mostly. The only thing I would point out, too, in addition, is I think everybody thinks about Miami and Cam Ward last year chucking it all over the yard. And look, they're like, oh, they got Carson Beck. They can just throw it everywhere. Dude, this team can run the football. I don't think they're going to have any problems controlling the clock.
Yep. Fletcher and Brown are nasty, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, those guys up front on the offensive line are fucking massive.
They have an NFL O-line, dude.
Yes, they do.
Like, legit.
Yeah. So I was a much lower on this team week 1 when they were playing Notre Dame because Notre Dame had such a big offensive line. It's like, man, Notre Dame could just run it down their throats. I could see that being a real problem. And then when I watched the game, I'm like, holy shit, and so does Miami. Miami can just run it down people's throats. So I don't think USF has the size to match up with Miami in the trenches. This is a very lopsided battle, in my opinion. I'm like you. I could see this being 30, 40-point blowout.
Dude, I remember having this discussion with you prior to the Notre Dame game because if I remember correctly, I believe I liked Miami but didn't pull the trigger.
Yep.
And I remember we talked about how we thought the two-headed monster at Notre Dame would be able to run the ball down Miami's throat.
They just didn't try.
Yeah. Miami held Notre Dame and held Love intact all day. They had 90 yards rushing on Miami. You think USF's going to run the ball on Miami?
USF is definitely not going to run the ball on them. To give a little bit of pushback, Notre Dame whoever the offensive game planner was deserves to be fucking fired. Jeremiah Love ran the ball 10 times in that game. Yeah. That's absurd. You're throwing the ball with a quarterback making his first start.
Those touches needed to double for him, for sure.
Yeah, at least.
But I'm just saying, like, Notre Dame couldn't run the ball on Miami. There is no shot in fucking hell.
Well, they did. Here's the thing. They did run the ball on Miami when they ran it. They just quit running the fucking football inexplicably. Yeah. But the whole point is like what you're saying makes 100% sense in this case because USF they're not Notre Dame. They don't have that size.
Right. Yeah. I guess the only thing that so normally this is a spot for Miami here where this would be like a 3 or 4 unit play for me. Like I really like this. What held me back was Miami has Florida on deck next week. How bad do they want to beat the shit out of USF this week? Like how do they keep their foot on their pedal? Do they, you know what I mean?
I think the only reason I think they do is because again, this is the most egregious shit I've ever seen. USF is the 18th ranked team in the country.
Yeah, it's crazy. They shouldn't be a top 50 team. Yeah.
Like, oh my God, that's insane. So, Miami's going to take that pretty personally, I would think.
Yeah, without a doubt. That's going to be a fun one. Kmart, you had one more you wanted to talk about, right?
Yeah, I got one more. Just feeding the baby over here. So I think Duke just came in on Duke plus 1.5.
Nice. I'm smashing Tulane.
I am. My last play is Tulane.
Ooh,
money line minus 120 for me. I just in case, you never know. Maybe Duke and I both win, but I saw a lot of Duke last week, because we were all kind of curious. I didn't bet it, but I think we all thought that was a side. But luckily, Joey said Capper special of the week or some shit. I don't remember. Anyway,
That's
Duke
exactly what I
there.
said. Duke versus Illinois. Kept us all off of it.
Yeah, so I don't know. I think again, it's one of those trappy lines. The book's like, oh, we know what these fake sharps are going to be looking at. Duke just got blown out, and now it's just plus 1.5. I mean, I think it opened -3 for Tulane, and then it just slowly started tripping down. I think even at one point it got to like -0.5 point. I saw.
I haven't seen a Tulane ticket.
Yeah, well, I got one. I've had it since Wednesday morning, I think.
It's the only side I'd be on here.
Yeah. So to me, I think I'm getting value with Tulane just because they're hanging that short number up there. Seems like a trend for me this week. Good luck. Owen, what up, Joe Ham? It sounds like he's
Where's
a little
Ham?
jealous.
Oh,
He's
Ham
not with
Piece is in here. That's
Yeah.
my son. That's my son.
us. I thought Duke was your son.
He's fucking up for adoption. Give him a
Duke's in foster care.
Yeah, Joe Ham's my real son.
Nice.
All right, well, listen, just so everyone knows, I'm not sure if there will be a pod there might be one Wednesday night for NFL, potentially. Unless Kmart is going to somehow run a pod by himself next Saturday. Myself, your boy Chaz, and Jay Buff and Rusty will be tearing up Sawgrass in Jacksonville. So
We don't want to do it live from the golf cart.
Yeah, well, we have caddies, buddy. We're walking, so
Oh,
actually,
fuck that.
we might be able to pull it off.
You might be carrying me.
Yeah, but hey, listen, if anyone's in the Jacksonville area and you guys want to grab some beers, we'll be around Saturday night smashing games. We'll be around Thursday night, Friday night. Friday night, no, we have dinner reservations. Saturday night, we're around. If anyone wants to get together, drink some beers, reach out, hit me up, hit up Chase. We'll be sending Kmart pictures from the tee boxes, letting him know that even though he's turning 40, he chose not to come with us because he doesn't like us. But
Just already had plans to go visit my family, man.
Yep. Shout out Jay Buff for the hookup. Buffy's the man. But yeah, we'll see you guys for an NFL pod. And hey, listen, let's go Dolphins tomorrow. We need
Fuck yes.
let's go Dolphins. We pulled our dicks out and played Dolphins in Survivor, so let's do it. But yeah, for us at Fade You, thank you for tuning in. Let's have another fucking week like last week. The boys cleaned up. Let's clean up again this week. If I play anything else, I'll add it tonight. I'm gonna go drink some beer. See y'all later. Peace.